let's try this again. Take two. Hello, hello, hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. My name is Sean Zimi, and I'm your ex corporate grinder. I used to work in a call center environment, corporate world for many, many years, working 12, 14, 16-hour days, 6 days a week, most often 7 days a week. DMP, what's up? 7 days a week until my pancreas quit on me, left me unemployable, which means I can't even get a job anymore, and with nothing to fall back on. And that sucked. So I don't know if you ever hit rock bottom like that, but it ain't fun. I don't recommend it. So I got redirected to this whole online space, this whole, hey, you can make some money online and you can be flexible on how you can do it. I'm like, huh, okay. I got redirected to this online space, and now I help folks to start a side gig, and we use social media to grow it. So if you have been thinking about it, you've been curious, or maybe even serious about starting another, stream of income for yourself and your family, and you like the idea of doing it online, and you like it to be flexible, to work with you, your crazy little world, drop the word side gig in the comments. I'll get back with you after this live. So we attempted to go live 10 minutes ago, and we failed. And it wouldn't. I wasn't starting on Instagram, so I had to end the last one and restart. So hopefully people are hopping back on. My apologies. So let's go. One of my favorite topics to talk about is comparison. I know most people will say don't compare yourself, but before I get into all that, because I've done a couple of what's up, I've done a couple of I would think pretty in-depth lives about comparing. I actually am the first one to tell you, do compare yourself, and I definitely have my reasoning to back it up. So I'll give you a little bit in this live, but let's build it up with a story. Okay. In an old village, if you would. Now, I don't know why for the past 3, 4 nights I'm stuck in this old village. Anyway, we're in the same old village, and there's this young man that he's a humble guy. He's into his own little world, right? He's nice to everybody. He says hi to everybody, helps out as much as he can. But he's got this one thing that he feels like it's weighing him down, and that's he comparing himself with everybody else. For example, in class, in school, when his friend got a better grade overall and would test much better on exams than he would, he always would tell himself, "Why can't I be as smart as that? Or if I only were that smart." They move into a neighborhood where the neighbor is pretty rich, and the kids are all wearing nice clothes, and they always have nice things. And him seeing that, he always compares and he says, what if we were like that? What if I could dress like that or have nice things? At work, when somebody would get a promotion or a praise, he would always say, "Oh, if only I could get that praise and that promotion." Even when he was running on track at school, he He would envy and compare himself with everybody else that ran faster than him. So one day, and this is just weighing him down. He knows this is kind of preventing him from moving forward and from success, and he just does not know how to shake this off. It's just not his thing, right? So one day, there's big news that this old wise man is going to be walking through town, and he's going to rest for a few days, and he's going to have some time to share his wisdom with others. Well, this young man gets excited and he cannot wait to meet the wise man, because for sure the wise man will have an answer to this whole comparison thing. So the day comes and the wise man is walking through the town and he rests, and this young man is so eager, so excited. And when he gets to the wise man, he says, I hear that you have wisdom for almost everything. And there's something that is bothering me, and I feel like it's weighing me down. And I'm seeking your help. The wise man says, well, speak, my son. And the kiddo goes, I just feel like I compare myself with everyone in anything. If somebody's doing something better than me, I instantly compare myself and I say, I wish that and what if I, right? Well, the wise man says, okay, I'll tell you what, tomorrow, first thing, I want you to meet me in the forest by the tallest tree. You'll find the answer there. The young man says, oh, okay. Okay. So the young man meets the old wise man by the tallest tree in the forest, and is eager to see what is this old man speaking about. And the old man turns to the young man and says, hey, so what do you see here in the forest? And he says, well, I see a bunch of trees. I see all kinds of different trees and plants. And I see that. And he goes, yeah, what else? And he says, I don't know. It feels like there's some kind of a peacefulness to it. It's like peaceful. That's really all I can explain. The old man says, yes. And the young man says, and this has what to do with my comparison question? And the wise man says, us people are like trees. If you see that tree, that's an orange tree, well, what is it supposed to do? And the young man says, well, it's supposed to produce oranges. Yes. Would you be mad if it didn't produce strawberries? And the young man says, no, I wouldn't be mad, because that's not what the orange tree is supposed to do. And the wise man says, yeah, true. What if you had an apple tree, and would you expect that to produce pineapples? The man says, of course not. The apple tree would produce apples. Exactly. Now, do you see that we have fruit trees, we have pine trees, we have all kinds of different trees here, and they all seem to get along. Now imagine if any one of these trees, imagine if one of the fruit trees, for example, the orange tree, imagine if he compared himself to the apple tree and said, What if I could produce apples? I wish I could produce apples. Would that be a fair comparison? And the young man says, of course not, because that's an orange tree. And the wise man says, that's correct, because it would be silly for an orange tree comparing itself with an apple tree. Just, it's not the same thing. Right. And the second thing, do you see that all these trees get along with each other? Nobody wants to be the other tree. And no tree is comparing itself with another tree. The young man is getting the idea. But the wise man continues and says, so if they don't compare each other with each other, and they don't wish to be something they are not, and they are all under peace and harmony, nobody's arguing with each other, then wouldn't that be a great idea for people to mimic that? Knowing that you are your own tree and comparing yourself with another person or another tree would be silly, because you have your own talents, you have your own fruits, you have your own purpose to live. You are your own person with your uniqueness. And for you to compare yourself with somebody else and wish to be somebody or something else, it would be silly. It wouldn't make sense in a forest world. So why would it make sense in your world? And I love that analogy, because I had not heard that. I recently heard that, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so good. If we could just kind of keep that um, alive in front of us, a forest full of different types of trees. No tree wants to be another kind of tree. No tree is arguing with other trees, and they're all under one sky and in peace and harmony together, because they know they each serve a purpose, their own purpose. Every tree knows that they serve their own purpose. Imagine if we took that and run with that. I'll share this with you. If you're a vet to my lives, most likely you've heard this, although I've probably done it a couple times. But if it's your first time, hopefully not your last time, and you'll enjoy this. But you'll hear people tell you in the success world, in the entrepreneur world, if you would, don't compare your chapter 1 to chapter 20 of somebody else. Don't compare yourself with this person. Don't compare yourself with that person. And I will be the first person to tell you I disagree. Ready for this? Because people compare, the comparison that people are talking about to avoid is not a healthy one. So I have two categories for comparing yourself. One, this is 99.99999% of the people, and that is they compare to complain. People compare to complain. They compare themselves to somebody else so that they can nag and complain and yap and blame. Oh, I wish only this. Oh, they got lucky. Or that's what people do. They compare to complain. Somebody is more successful than them in a business. They're like, oh, they got lucky, they got in early, or they had this one person help them, or the money came from parents. They compare to complain. The other category that, in my opinion, is the best category and is very healthy is when you compare to compete. Now, not to compete to knock down somebody, but compete to put up a competition, like a race. You guys are running, and where you're running is just striving for more, right? In that case, when you compare to compete, then you follow the path of the great. Here's where people say, success leaves clues. Well, so does failure. Failure leaves clues too, right? So if you're going to compare to compete, you're going to follow that path. You're going to do what they said, what they did, right? Because they've kind of paved the way, right? So remember, if it comes down to comparing, be very careful to draw this, to understand and pay attention to this fine line between comparing to complain or comparing to compete. And I love this whole analogy of the fact that, hey, you know what? A forest with all types of trees, none of the trees are comparing themselves. They don't wish to be others. They just kind of go with their own purpose, and they don't even pay attention to anywhere else. And they're all in peace and harmony. So let's copy that and incorporate that into our own lives. So with that, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. I always go back and check the comments no matter what platform you're watching on, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. I always go back and I will respond back. And if you know, I know you know. If you know somebody who could get value from this because they constantly compare themselves in a bad way, then you should tag them to this video and share the love. Let them get some insights. Why not? Why not? And tag them, share it with them, and it's totally cool. So if you're not following me, I mean, I could tell you how awesome I am, but why don't you find out for yourself? You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Threads. And I go with Side Gig Sean. With that, I am Sean Azimi. I'm somebody who used to work in a call center corporate environment for many, many years. I used to work 12, 14, 16-hour days, 6 days a week, often 7 days a week, until my pancreas quit, shut down, no mess, it don't work, and left me unemployable, which means I can't even get a job anymore, and with nothing to fall back on. That sucked. So now I help folks just like you, just like me, to start a business, to start a side gig online. And we grow it using social media. So if you like the idea of adding an additional stream of income to your household, if you like the idea of it being flexible, um, then drop the word side gig in the comments and I will get back with you after this live. With that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.